with Jason at Great Outdoors in Pennsylvania and beyond. Brought to you by the Marianna Outdoorsmen Association and by Wild Acres Farm, Fishery, and Regulated Hunting Grounds. Now, the Great Outdoors with Jason White.
Hello, friends. This is Jason White. Welcome to the Great Outdoors. I'm happy to be here with you today. It's a little soggy here in southwestern Pennsylvania, but we're forging ahead to summer months are right around the corner. But I hope everybody's doing well. Please enjoy the weather. Looks like we're gonna start getting some sun today, and it's gonna be a pretty awesome weekend. That being said, I want to give a special thanks to our sponsors, the Marianna Outdoorsmen Association. You can join the MOA today. 30% discounts are currently offered for the spring and summer months. That is from May 1st all the way till the end of August. Again, 30% special, MariannaOutdoors.com. Wild Acres Farm, Fishery, and Regulated Hunting Grounds. If you're looking to come pick flowers, if you're looking to book an upland bird hunt, if you're looking to book a wedding, host a corporate event, or heck, if you're just looking to get away for a weekend, check us out at 10mileco.org, TENMILECO.org, and that stands for 10 Mile Creek Outfitters, who manages and operates Wild Acres Farm, Fishery, and Regulated Hunting Grounds. And by all means, schedule your free-ranging deer and upland bird hunts for this upcoming fall. You can also always give us a call at 724-579-0924. So I wanted to jump in today. A couple things that are happening. First and foremost, I want to talk about some upcoming events with the Pennsylvania Farm Bureau and some collaborations with the Pennsylvania Game Commission. These events are geared at farms and hunters of southwestern Pennsylvania, not really what I would deem specific counties, but just the major southwestern Pennsylvania footprint: Washington, Green, Fayette, Westmoreland, and I would even say hovering around those perimeter counties as well. So I'm really excited to announce a few things, and I am pulling it up here, so I apologize. So on May the 28th, there is going to be a wildlife reception. It is going to be at Trailside Landing Event Center. It is a collaborative effort that is hosted by the Pennsylvania Farm Bureau Wildlife and Fisheries Committee. It'll be from 6 to 8 o'clock. The address is 235 North 1st Street, Connellsville, PA, 15425. This is a free event. If you would like to attend, please, you can call me directly at 724-579-0924, or you could shoot me an email at moa.jasonwhite@gmail.com. This is a networking event. It's good for people to connect with folks in leadership within the Pennsylvania Game Commission, people within leadership of the Pennsylvania Farm Bureau, local representatives within the Farm Bureau, board members. I know there's going to be state elected officials, representatives, senators, county commissioners. So by all means, please, stay in touch with us. Please consider attending. We also have sponsorship opportunities. But again, this event is a free event. It is Wednesday, May the 28th from 6 to 8 p.m. It's at the Trailside Landing Event Center. It is a wildlife reception hosted by the Pennsylvania Farm Bureau's Wildlife and Fisheries Committee, Wednesday, May 28th, 6 to 8 p.m., 235 North 1st Street, Connellsville, Pennsylvania. Again, free event, but you got to call me, 724-579-0924, or you can shoot me an email at moa.jasonwhite@gmail.com. Again, this is a networking event. It's a free event. Food and drinks will be provided by the Pennsylvania Farm Bureau Wildlife and Fisheries Committee. And I also want to acknowledge the fact that this is going to be highlighting and springboarding things that are going to be upcoming the following day. So on May the 29th, at the Rostraver Fire Hall, this will be, again, Thursday, May 29th. There are going to be two sessions. One's from 8 a.m. until 10 a.m. The other session is in the evening from 6 p.m. till 8 p.m. It's free admission. This is going to be basically a seminar type setup. It's going to be hosted by the Pennsylvania Farm Bureau and presentations by the Pennsylvania Game Commission. These presentations are going to cover Certified Hunter Program, which is brand new. It's a pilot program specifically for Southwestern Pennsylvania to engage more hunters to access farm property. So really excited about that. That's number one. Number two, there have been amendments to the Ag Tag program and DMAP program. So ultimately, there's a brand new program coming to get more people to, to be able to access farmland. And then number two, there's been changes to the Ag Tags and the DMAP program. I want to say this. I'm very thankful and appreciative of the Pennsylvania Game Commission, the Board of Commissioners. There's been a lot of changes here. I want to say this, though. I know there's a lot of folks out there that want to see more changes quicker. I understand. This is a situation that Rome isn't built in a day, and I hope everybody will be a little patient. I know myself, I'm trying my best to get things done as quickly as possible. We've got some great changes that are coming from these efforts. So I'm really thankful for that. I'm really thankful for the fact that this is going to be a pilot program in Southwest PA, and the farmers and hunters and just the general populace will be able to be engaged and involved in this process. So I think that's unique in its own regard. I'll kind of go over some of the things that are incorporated with these changes. I'm going to cover some of them. It's not all of them. But first of all, obviously the Certified Hunter Program, which is brand new. It's basically an ethics class that you will take as an existing hunter, and it's basically to go over basic things from shooting safety to respect of people's land, understanding opening and closing, cattle gates, so on and so forth. I mean, there's just different things, but because of so many, I would say, negative happenings over the years, a lot of farmland has gotten out of being open to the public. So this is a segue that people can show that they're going above and beyond to be good stewards of not only the hunting and trapping community, but also just that they're above and beyond with good ethics, good morals, and just good people. So the other piece of this is these properties would then be regulated still by the landowners. The landowners would not be forced to have to open it to everybody. So if they only want to have 2 or 3 people, so be it. That's the landowner's choice, as it should be. So I'm really appreciative and thankful for that. So there's going to be a lot of this is going to be an evolving and kind of growing and morphing thing. Like I said, it's a pilot program in Southwest PA. So, I appreciate everybody's involvement. And again, there's going to be wildlife reception on the 28th, and then both of these seminar sessions on the 29th that you can attend. If you want to attend any of these events, I want to reiterate, you got to give me a call at 724-579-0924. Shoot me an email, moa.jasonwhite@gmail.com. All 3 of the events, the wildlife reception on the 28th, and then both of the seminars on the 29th are both free. You do not have to pay. You're welcome to attend. But we just ask that you please RSVP in advance. That's all we ask. Some other changes that are coming. Ag tags and DMAP, they got rid of the 4 tag limit per shooter. So now instead of having to worry about getting all these different shooters on your property, that basically has gone away. One shooter can fulfill the tags that are given. And then the other piece of it is they've definitely done a lot to streamline the process online. That's been a big change. Certainly, I think there's other things that can be done to improve that. So I know that they're going to be talking about that as well. It's now online. So once you initially register, you basically go on just like you would with your hunting license, and you refill out your allocation. Again, these are all positives. They're big steps in the right direction. Also being able to get the necessary tags that you need through either the ag tag or the DMAP program to manage your property. is extremely important. And the last piece is now in late season. So the day after Christmas until I think it's the end of January. Don't quote me on the date, but you can now use a high-powered rifle on these particular properties to manage antlerless deer. That's massive. That's huge. I think that's a tremendous opportunity. I do not feel that it's going to negatively impact, because I know this will be brought up at some juncture. I personally do not feel that it's going to impact the muzzleloading community. I certainly respect everybody's choices to go out and use a flintlock. I applaud you for that. I've done it myself in the past. But that being said, if a farmer or a landowner has, I'm just going to hypothetically say, based upon the Game Commission's scientific formula, that you're allowed to shoot 20 antlerless deer off your property, and hypothetically, let's just say through archery and rifle season, you only shoot 10. Well, I can assure you, in late season, the odds of you shooting 10 with a flintlock are slim to none on your property. So giving people, more realistic opportunities, and we're just advocating for that. So again, this is science-based. We're going off the Game Commission's recommendations. So we'll see where things kind of go, but those are the foundational, I guess you will call it, changes. There are some other things on the horizon that are extremely important, from technology advancements, QR codes getting added to the backs of licenses so we can quickly and easily, document a harvest. Things like merging ag tags and DMAP so it's not as confusing. Getting rid of. I had a conversation yesterday, so I have to verify this, but I know that we had complaints about the different prices for ag tags, DMAP, and the normal antlerless tag, and I know that I wasn't sure if that was all being done right now. I think it is, so I'll verify that as well as this kind of progresses. But that was another piece to try to streamline the pricing so it wasn't so confusing. But if we can manage the DMAPs and ag tags to be one program, and obviously what you can do in season as opposed to what you can do out of season, it would be so much better. Still, again, science-based, formula-driven to get how many tags you could or should have for your property. And I would say the last thing is the conversation about baiting. I'm not bringing up baiting for hunting season. I'm not at all, so I don't want to even talk about it. But I am talking about it for the out-of-season months, the summer months. It's absolutely a tool that is a regulation on the books today in southeastern Pennsylvania. It's a utilized practice, and certainly, we would like to see that spread across the whole state. It's a more efficient and effective methodology. That is, that's a tool in the toolbox. Furthermore, that is not a CWD or a disease situation. That is a culture conversation. That's fact. I've heard that right out of the mouths of folks in leadership within the Game Commission. And that's not an insult to anybody. That's just the reality. So, if anybody wants to talk about baiting whatsoever, again, I'm not talking about it during hunting season. I am talking about it, though, during the off-season months whenever we're trying to meet our wildlife management needs and goals and trying to do it efficiently and effectively. Allowing bait is absolutely a no-brainer. And again, I reiterate the fact that, we need to stop with the fear-mongering over disease or whatever we're going to say, because that's not the reason why even this hasn't come to fruition today. It's a culture thing. So, we just got to get beyond that. We have to figure out ways to compromise, and it is what it is. I fully agree and support being able to utilize bait. I would rather just have it legalized with the Game Commission, allow the Game Commission to manage it accordingly via regulations. That's totally how it should be. Period. End of story. Some things should not be in my opinion, dictated by the legislature, and certainly, things like this through these different crop damage programs, they should be accessible to everybody across the Commonwealth, not just specific geographical regions. And then when we bring it up, it turns around and comes out to be a culture thing. So that's not a justified reason for people to have to be subjected to property damage. So I just wanted to make sure I reiterated that. There's other things too. We'll be discussing in the future. Certainly, the justifications and rationalizations of the wildlife management units. I know I've talked about this a lot in the past, but there's basically 6 maps that overlay on top of each other. I've heard people say in the past, "Oh, you can't use political boundaries," blah 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 blah. Well, that's all good. I appreciate a good conversation, but that doesn't make it reality. So the Game Commission has 6 maps. 5 out of the 6 absolutely are political boundaries. Deer being one of them. The only map that is not is turkeys. So basically, our wildlife management units are the way they are because of turkeys. Personally, I think that's absolutely crazy and asinine, and I completely disagree with any notion of the wildlife management units. Anybody that does statistics and data would know and understand the fact that if I have the counties and I can do touch points at all those different places, basically, you're county by county, as opposed to these large 5 to even touching sometimes 7 county management units. It's all about touch points. It's about data and analytics. So if we're going to have this conversation about science, happy to have it, but we need to have it based upon fact, not upon opinion. And those units, I've not seen any quantitative data to justify, outside of the fact that we have a turkey map, as to why we're managing deer, bear, migratory birds, upland birds, trapping off of turkeys. It's crazy, absolutely crazy. So I'll digress on that. That's a whole nother subject, but I'm personally, if you haven't understood, I haven't seen any science or math or anything to back up the units, and I'll stick to my guns on that. Until I do, I adamantly oppose them. I think we need to go back to counties. And until somebody can scientifically and intelligently show me otherwise, that why we're doing good, because I'm not seeing good. I mean, the things we've talked about have been about the digressions with the wildlife management, and that's obviously why we're taking and working together in a positive regard with a lot of these changes. So, I'm appreciative of everybody, and that's not just the Game Commission and leadership. I'm also appreciative of the hunting community, the farming community, because we're able to, for once, people are actually able to have a conversation. Because listen, there's at no point in time where all of us are going to agree on everything. That's never going to happen. But at least we can raise a question and have a conversation. There's nothing wrong with that. Those are all pluses and positives. So, you can't fix a problem, first of all, if you don't acknowledge you have a problem. And number 2, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different result. So we got to be able to spitball ideas, and we got to be able to explore, different thought processes to get where we need to go. Beyond that, some other things I know that'll be regulation recommendations are certainly going to be regarding the butchers. There's still a total overhaul there that I certainly know and feel that needs to be changed. I would love to see the Ag Innovation Program that is now in the state budget. I would like to see that convert to where it would also allow butcher shops to upgrade their facilities potentially in some capacity. Also, data collection still isn't happening at the butcher shops. Butcher shops are still not being compensated for their fair market value of rented space by the Game Commission. To my knowledge, we haven't changed the practice of paying people with hats and calendars. So there's, as you can see, folks, a lot of good happening, but looking down the road, there's still a lot that we got to do. So I say that very factually based and I say that very passionately, that it's going to take all of us, including you, to be involved in the process. Give your thoughts, opinions, ideas. And, hopefully we can all continue to row in the same direction. That being said, I want to switch gears real quick. It's turkey season. I had some folks recently ask me about techniques, strategies, implements. What do you do? So the folks that are on video, you can see me, obviously. The folks that aren't, I apologize. I'll try to articulate this as best as I can. But folks have asked me, like, hey, what are the basic things that you need to go turkey hunting in Pennsylvania, or for that matter, across the country? So I'm going to dive into that. I'm going to show you a little bit. I'm going to talk about some of the gear that I would recommend or that you need, some of the gear maybe that you do not need, and hopefully this can be some helpful tips for you. And the one thing I'm going to tell you, though, and any turkey hunter will probably tell you this, it's trial and error. A lot of it's trial and error. There's a lot of videos out there that you can watch. Obviously, this one right here, giving you some tips and ideas, but certainly, consume as much information as you can, watch whatever you can, and then go out and you're going to just have to try it in practical nature. So let's dive right into it. First and foremost, clothing. You got to have good clothing, base layer, obviously depending on where you're hunting in the country. We were kind of blessed here in Southwestern Pennsylvania to where I literally had one base layer, and then I had my camo, and that was it. I utilized the one day it was drier. I used my normal, I guess you'll call them, leather style hunting boots, and then it was a rainy day. I used rubbers. Just remember, a lot of the days, especially in Pennsylvania, there's a lot of dew, dampness. I would recommend clothing that is water protective, or not necessarily has to be a rain suit, but you certainly do not want stuff that's going to soak up water. So different, anything that could be consuming of water, I would highly recommend considering another option when that's a topic of conversation. Number 2, so we talked about clothing. The camo pattern that you choose, you want to make sure that it is reflective of your surroundings. That might sound really silly, but it's not. When you're hunting youth day, it's more, I would say, brown. You're going to want more of a brown pattern. If you're hunting now, getting into May, as we kind of progress, you're going to want more of a brighter green pattern. Just think of your surroundings. So wherever you're hunting at, be cognizant of your surroundings. You're going to want camo patterns reflective of your surroundings. That's the whole entire point of camouflage. Absolutely, you need a face covering of some kind. They sell a wide variety of these. If you do not want to use a face covering, absolutely you need to utilize some type of face paints. I recommend face coverings. I have them myself. I use them. They work really well. They're actually very comfortable. They're almost like a spandex style material. But certainly I recommend that. Absolutely, you should have a hat. Hats are really beneficial, obviously, for the sun, because depending on where you're hunting, especially on a field edge, you don't want to be lined up on a bird and the sun's in your eyes. Like, that's just something you want to make sure that you have in your arsenal as well. Gloves, covering up your hands. They actually sell gloves with the finger trigger cut out of the glove. I really like them. The other thing is, I don't know if everybody can see this on the video, but a backpack. They sell these turkey style packs. They are seats built into them, which are super convenient. So when you're walking, it kind of pulls up along your backside. Whenever you want to sit down, it sits down and is a very comfortable seat. Additionally, these are really, really nice because you can put all your different calls, your striker sticks, you name it, basically, you can get it into here. But a good pack is extremely important because I can tell you when you start sitting up against some of these trees and on some of these stumps and logs when you're in the woods, it can be very uncomfortable. So a good pack, you're better off spending a little bit of money and getting a good investment. So this has been a tremendous investment for me. I really like this particular pack. This is actually a Sitka style turkey pack. But depending on your budget, there's a wide variety. But a pack is something I would highly recommend investing some money into, just because of the comfort. Firearms. You can use a shotgun or a bow in Pennsylvania. For goodness sakes, please make sure that you have a proper choke on your gun for a turkey load. Please make sure that you have turkey loads that match your gun. You do not want to put the wrong ammunition into your gun. Please make sure you go and practice in advance. They sell turkey targets. Please make sure you know your gun ranges. Gun ranges are you're knowing your distances, especially with a shotgun, is very important. And make sure you take either take a little rangefinder with you. You can get one for $150. If not, pace it off. Just remember, one big step is roughly a yard. So even wherever you're hunting, like if you're there in advance and you pace it off, if you don't have an actual rangefinder, you can take paces. One pace is roughly a yard. One big step. So pace it off. Know your gun. Know your ammunition. Do not go to the gun range and fire, for example, say you have a 12-gauge shotgun. Do not go there with no turkey choke on and shoot your gun with a different style ammunition, and then go out in the woods, put your turkey choke on, and shoot a different style ammunition. You got to make sure whatever you practice is how you're going to go out in the woods and fire that firearm. So just please practice. That's very critical. Know your distances. Know where you feel competent and confident. And I can assure you, you'll be successful. You just need to be able to practice. Make sure you got a good shoulder sling on your firearm. I cannot stress that enough, because there's going to be times when you're turkey hunting. Sometimes you have to move. You don't want to be lugging it around almost like an upland bird style gun. So that's just another little tidbit for you to acknowledge. Some of the things you're going to need out in the field, and I think this is actually really important. So for those that can see me, this is a box call. Box calls require chalk. For those that have never used one of these, this is literally handcrafted from wood, but pretty efficient and effective. They're really good in dry conditions. These actually are terrible, like if you were out in a rainy day or whatnot and you're getting soaking wet, you do not want to use this. The odds of it getting a lot of moisture into it, it will not work properly. So I say that to you from experience. If it's a rainy day, I would highly recommend not utilizing a box call. That's my opinion. Another option. This is a slate call. These come in a very, very, very wide variety. Basically, you can hit it on either side. There's glass and there's slate. I really myself like the slate side. I like the slate side myself. What I would suggest is, one thing you're going to need is striker sticks. Now, every one of these calls, whether it's a box call, whether it's a slate or glass call, there's metal calls, there's copper calls. Seriously, there's so many varieties. You can get them at Walmart. You can get them at your big retail hunting stores, your mom and pop hunting stores. You can get them online. Doesn't really matter. They all make different sounds. They make different pitches. Think of these things like musical instruments. It's the best way I can describe them to you. And if you're someone new to this, go online and literally you can pick up some videos or sounds of what does a turkey sound like. And then all you do is you're just literally mimicking what you hear. And ultimately these particular calls I'm showing you right now, these are for the females. These are hens. So whether they're just doing a little cluck, or if they're doing a purr, or if they're really trying to be like, hey, I am here. Or if you got something like that going on. So watch some videos, watch some YouTube videos. There's a lot that you can listen to, that you can watch to kind of learn, to see the different times that these calls are used. Another thing I was mentioning about the striker sticks. These themselves, depending on the shaft, depending on the handle, depending on even the striking area itself, they all make different pitches themselves in combination. Even if you use the same call, the different striker can make a totally different pitch. So I recommend, I carry like 3 or 4 of these with me at all times, just because, especially if you're moving, there's a risk of dropping it, losing it. I can tell you, if you're an avid turkey hunter, sooner or later you're going to drop or lose one of these. It's just it's a reality of turkey hunting. I hate to say it, but I mean, certainly do your best. The pack that I have, it's actually really good. It's got a magnet pouch, so the lid actually closes. I've had some of the old style pouches where it didn't do that, and you're crawling on the ground or you're moving. Next thing you know, it falls right out. So just something to think about. Sandpaper. You might think this is like crazy, but it's not. Especially after you use these, basically all you do is you just take some sandpaper like so, and it roughs up the area, and it actually helps it for the striker to strike much better. Now, that being said, something else to be very cognizant of is, again, rain. If it is a soaking wet day and it's downpouring, these things do not work very well. They will basically not work at all. So your box call and your slate call, your glass calls, your metal calls, depending on what brand or style they are, if it is a soaking wet day, the odds of them working very well are not very good. They do make strikers and they do make calls that work in the rain, but from my experience, none of this stuff works that great in wet conditions. Now, what does work good in wet conditions are mouth calls. Personally, not a fan whatsoever. This is a mouth call. It is a musical instrument through and through. That is what it is. There are some people out there that can use these things, and you would never know the difference between them and a turkey. It's kind of fascinating how good there are people that use these things. There's actually turkey calling competitions across the country. These are a very, very good tool, especially in wet conditions. I myself am much, much, much more comfortable with a slate call. I'll even use a box call every now and then. I love the slate call, though. It's just something I personally enjoy. My weakness personally would definitely be the mouth calls. I just never have been very comfortable with it in my mouth and in the roof of my mouth. This is something you absolutely have to practice. It's something you have to be comfortable with. The other thing I wanted to mention is these calls. So if you can see this on video, I don't know if you can tell, but you can actually see there are differences with the way that they call it the reeds and the plastic of it, and it actually creates different pitches. So depending on what you're trying to do and what pitch you're trying to utilize or achieve would basically determine what call you would use. So these are not very expensive. You can probably get them, depends, $15 to $30 if I had to throw out a price range. For these, I got Primos here. I got the Bone Collector Edition. I have Fox Pro. So like there's different brands. There's not, I don't want to say there's one that's like the end all be all. I got a Primo Striker here. This is actually a locally made call, and then actually this box call was made and given to me. So, there's a lot of varieties of the strikers, the calls, the different things you can use. The biggest thing I can tell you is through trials and practice, you'll decide what you enjoy and like the most. There's not a perfect anything. It's, again, all about what you're comfortable with. The last thing I want to acknowledge is decoys. If you're turkey hunting, depending on your situation, and it is situation based, the whole concept of these different calls is to mimic a female turkey, which, if anybody can see the video, this is a female turkey. So basically, the concept is you stick this thing in the ground and you hit your calls, and hopefully a male turkey is going to see it and come in. On the bottom of here, you can't see that. Well, for those that can see, those listening, there's basically it's a double stake. One stake is attached to the body of the decoy. The other one you stick on a stake and you push it in the ground. Typically, these things will spin if it's windy, move around. This is a hen. They also sell jakes. They also sell gobblers. They sell gobblers in partial strut. They sell gobblers in full strut. I certainly feel like the strutters in combination with the jakes and the hens all work very well. Again, trial and error. They're situationally based. There's times I've seen the turkeys could care less about the decoys. And just remember, the best decoy you can ever get is a real turkey. So, the decoys are nice. I like them because I like to get other hens to draw in even. And once they're kind of around, next thing you know, here comes another turkey, and they kind of suck in. So it's a lot of this is trial and error. A lot of it is through experience. Just try the different things. Even these decoys, there's decoys I've tried in the past that were very rigid, very heavy. I hated them. This particular decoy here, I actually really like it because you can literally roll this thing up if I wanted to, and I can put it right in my pack, and it'll go right in my pack, and I can take it wherever I want to go. So again, trial and error, kind of figuring out what you're comfortable with, what you don't like, and articulating your craft and fine-tuning your craft to where you're successful. I was blessed this week to harvest a bird, and it's all about practice. It's all about, learning the tools over the years. And if you've never been out, give it a try. I'm sure you'll like it and enjoy it. Like I said, lots of videos out there on the internet. Don't miss an opportunity. But again, I'm going to wrap up today's show by thanking our sponsors, Marianna Outdoorsmen Association. You can join today. 30% discount this summer, MariannaOutdoors.com. And also Wild Acres Farm, Fishery, and Regulated Hunting Grounds, weddings, corporate events, guided deer and turkey hunts, upland bird hunts, trophy trout fishing trips, 10mileco.org. I'm Jason White. This is Great Outdoors. Have a blessed week and a great weekend. See y'all.
And you're listening to WMBS Uniontown at 11 o'clock.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Steve Kathan.